My beloved child, stop looking around wondering if anyone noticed your quiet obedience. I saw you when you gave without receiving. I saw you when you loved without applause. I watched every tear you wiped away from your own eyes so you can comfort others. When you chose to bless instead of curse, to trust instead of run, to kneel in secret rather than demand just as heaven recorded it. You were never unseen. While the world celebrated the loud and visible, I was standing beside you in the unseen moments, measuring every action done from a heart that only wanted to please me. And now, I say to you with urgency, those unseen sacrifices are echoing in the spiritual realm and activating blessings in the natural. The seed you buried in quiet pain is bursting forth with a harvest that cannot be delayed. I will not allow your private faithfulness to remain unrewarded. I am a God who honors loyalty when the spotlight is gone, and today marks the beginning of your visible reward. You've waited long enough in silence. Prepare yourself, your blessing has arrived, and it's coming in full view of the very places where you once felt invisible. My child, listen to me closely. What you thought was a closed door was actually me building something behind it. You've wrestled with frustration, confusion, even disappointment, wondering why things didn't happen when you asked, why the answers seemed slow, why the breakthrough felt distant. But I was not ignoring you, I was orchestrating what would sustain you. The waiting wasn't wasted. I was laying foundations for a future that wouldn't collapse. In your impatience, you only saw absence. But in my mercy, I was providing protection. You weren't being punished, you were being prepared. The things you begged me for months or even years ago required strength in you that hadn't been developed yet. So I paused the outcome, not because you were unworthy, but because the blessing was too precious to hand over prematurely. I needed you to be ready not just to receive but to carry, multiply, and protect what was coming. And now, beloved, that readiness has been forged in your fire. That strength has been formed in your surrender. And because you endured the process, I now declare that the release begins. No more unnecessary delay. No more divine holding pattern. What was being held is now being handed over. What was being withheld is now being unlocked. Doors that wouldn't budge before are now opening without resistance. Opportunities are aligning in rapid succession. The spiritual atmosphere around you has shifted because my timing has arrived. And in this holy hour, I need you to shift your mindset as well. Stop bracing for disappointment. Expect overflow. Speak boldly, move freely, and give thanks ahead of your arrival. You are not entering a repeat of disappointment, you are stepping into fulfillment with my authority leading the way. So breathe differently. Walk differently. Worship differently. The waiting has expired. And I, your Lord, announce this clearly. What I held back for your good is now being released for my glory. I need you to grasp this truth with urgency. The atmosphere around you has shifted. There is no longer resistance in the realm where my promises are birthed. The heavens above your life have been opened not with force, but with favor. What was once lingering in delay has now descended into your reach. I do not speak in riddles, I speak in fulfillment. The blessings I whispered to your heart in your loneliest hour, the dreams you buried under the weight of time, the prayers you whispered when no one else was awake, these are not future events. They are now. No longer must you look ahead and wonder when it will happen. Look around, because I have already begun it. The evidence is forming around you in unexpected ways, in conversations, in open invitations, in sudden peace that makes no sense. These are the signs of my divine yes being released upon your life. You asked me to come through, and I have. Not partially, not eventually, but fully and presently. I am standing in your today, not your someday. The rain of my abundance is falling even now, not just financially, but spiritually, emotionally, relationally. I am saturating every part of your journey with my fingerprints. You don't need to chase the blessing anymore, because it has located you. You don't have to earn what I've already delivered. This is the season where grace does what your effort never could. The striving ends now. What was blocked hath been cleared. What was tangled hath been straightened. What felt impossible is becoming reality without explanation. You may feel unprepared, but I tell you you're more ready than you think. You may think it's too sudden, but I say it's perfectly timed. So lift your eyes. Stop searching for signs and start thanking me for what is present. The clouds of spiritual resistance have parted, and my favor is shining down without hindrance. This is your appointed moment. And hear me loud and clear. The fulfillment you've longed for is no longer pending, it has arrived. My child, do not mistake silence for inaction. While you were walking through uncertain paths, I was dispatching heavenly messengers to guard what was meant for you. Long before you could trace my hand, I had already moved my armies into position. These are not ordinary interventions. These are divine appointments secured by angels sent from my throne. Each one carries specific instruction concerning you. They are not watching idly, they are working actively. There are blessings carrying your name, and I have assigned spiritual protection over them. No interference can touch what I have sanctified. Every attempt by the enemy to sabotage what I have ordained has already been intercepted. Every detour designed to mislead you hath been corrected by the hands of my messengers. You thought delays were your fault, but they were moments where my angels rerouted what would have damaged you. You assumed closed doors were rejection, but they were guarded by my command so you wouldn't walk into traps dressed as opportunities. And now, what was once guarded is being delivered. Nothing missing. Nothing stolen. Nothing contaminated. The overflow that's being poured into your life is wrapped in purity and protected by authority. Even now, as you listen to my words, angels are standing at the corners of your destiny, lifting burdens you didn't know were there. You've walked with weight on your shoulders that wasn't yours to carry. You've spoken blessings over others while waiting for your own. But I say this clearly: the wait is ending, and the transfer is happening. Angelic hands are placing divine provision into your days ahead. This will not be barely enough, it will be more than expected. Not because you earned it, but because I assigned it. Do not fear theft, delay, or interference, because my messengers will not rest until what belongs to you is fully in your possession. I am guarding your portion. I am securing your increase. What comes next in your life is not random, it is strategically delivered by the very ones I sent. And they are on assignment until every promise reaches your hands in fullness. My precious one, hear me, what was shattered is not lost forever. I am the master restorer. Even the places you thought would never breathe again, I am reviving. You have labeled certain parts of your life as too far gone, too wounded, too damaged to ever be whole again. But I am stepping into those very places with healing in my hands. I specialize in the impossible. What you've buried under years of disappointment, I am now uncovering to renew. Not just to patch up or hide, but to completely renew it from its roots. You assumed that time meant it was forgotten, but I was waiting for the perfect moment to rebuild in a way that would leave no trace of pain, only testimony. I am speaking into the dry bones of your life, and they are coming together again. I am restoring the voice you lost when grief silenced you. I am restoring confidence where shame tried to take root. I am repairing relationships that you were certain would never reconcile. And more than that, I am restoring your joy, the deep kind, the peace-saturated kind that doesn't depend on circumstances. Do you see how I work? I don't just return things as they were. I bring them back better, purer, stronger. What once hurt you will now be the same area I pour my glory through. I will use the very cracks the enemy tried to exploit as the channels for my living water to flow. You've walked through seasons where your identity was crushed under pressure, but I have preserved who you are in me. That identity is emerging now, whole and unafraid. And even in the parts you thought were gone forever, your laughter, your creativity, your spiritual hunger, your hope, I am reviving it all. You're going to stand in moments where you say, I never imagined this could be whole again. But I did. I always did. I saw the end before the fracture. I saw the healing before the wound. And now, I am proving it. This restoration is not symbolic, it is real, tangible, and happening before your eyes. Don't mourn what once was. Rejoice in what is being made new. Because I, your Redeemer, am not done. In fact, I've only just begun. My child, they never realized what they were setting in motion when they tried to bring you down. Every word spoken to belittle you, every attempt to push you into shadows, every action born out of jealousy or hatred, they didn't sabotage you. They sponsored your rise. I allowed what was meant to break you to become the soil in which I planted your elevation. Just as I turned betrayal into purpose for Joseph, just as I turned a cross into a crown for myself, I am now transforming your afflictions into advancement. Their plots may have been cruel, their plans may have wounded, but none of it escaped my vision. I saw every whisper, every snare, every manipulation, and I overruled them all. I've taken what they designed as destruction and redirected it into construction. It's not just a recovery, it's a rebuild that raises you higher than before. And here's what I want you to understand: those same places where you felt humiliated will become the very ground where you are celebrated. Those same mouths that mocked you will witness your transformation and be silenced by my favor upon you. You don't need to explain how you got here. I will make it clear through results they cannot ignore. This is the part of your story where I show how I use opposition as acceleration. The pain they caused did not paralyze you, it prepared you. You were not destroyed by their rejection, you were positioned by it. And now I am lifting you up, not because of who they said you were, but because of who I've always known you were. Do not waste time proving anything to people who once overlooked you. Let your elevation speak. Let your blessing answer. I am exalting you in the same environment where you were once diminished, and I am doing it in such a way that only I could receive the glory. You will not have to force this. Your only task now is to walk in it. So lift your head, dry your tears, and get ready for vindication that doesn't come through revenge but through favor. This is how I turn ashes into beauty. This is how I make sure your story ends with me lifting you above every weapon formed against you. Beloved, the moments you once avoided out of fear, the opportunities you let pass because you felt unqualified, and the callings you questioned because of your insecurities, those are the very doors I am now opening wide before you. And this time, you won't hesitate. You will shrink back, because I have rebuilt the confidence the world tried to strip from you. You are not who you were when you first encountered those closed spaces. You've grown in silence, matured through pressure, and been refined in the unseen. There were doors that once intimidated you because you didn't know your value. But now you walk as one who understands who sent you. I am your credential. I am your backing. You will not need to plead your case or strive to prove your worth. Your presence will be enough, because my presence goes with you. This is not about arrogance. It is about divine confidence that comes from knowing I am the one guiding your steps. And the places you once avoided, they are no longer locked. I have shifted the atmosphere, and what seemed impenetrable is now accessible. You were afraid before because of past wounds, rejection, failure, shame. But I have healed you deeply, and now I'm showing you how to move forward without those weights. Don't allow old voices to talk you out of present doors. Don't let fear disguise itself as caution. You are not entering unfamiliar territory unprepared. You are walking into places that I designed for you from the beginning. And you won't just enter, you will thrive. You will speak with authority. You will stand with grace. You will lead, influence, and bless in ways that once felt impossible. And all this will happen not because of your perfection, but because of your obedience. You trusted me when it hurt. You waited when it cost you. And now I'm calling you to step forward with boldness, not because you're strong enough, but because I've made the way clear. The rooms you once stood outside of, dreaming to be part of, will now become your place of purpose. I've already gone before you, and I'm telling you now, this is your moment to walk through, not with hesitation, but with holy courage. And when you walk in, remember you're not the same person who once stood trembling at the threshold. You're walking in with me. Child of my heart, listen closely. Every ceiling they placed above you, every boundary drawn to contain you, every word spoken to restrict your identity, I have shattered them. They said you couldn't rise beyond what they allowed, but I never asked their permission to bless you. They tried to label you with limitations, but I created you for limitless purpose. You carried the burden of words that told you to stay small, to stay quiet, to stay in line, but I am removing those chains, one by one. I'm calling you into wide spaces, spaces they said you'd never reach. The trauma that told you you're not capable, it has lost its voice. The wounds that whispered you'll never break through, they no longer have power over you. The failures of your past do not get to shape your future. I have intervened, and I've done more than forgive. I've rewritten what follows you. The shadows of yesterday are not allowed to travel into your tomorrow. I've cleared the residue of limitation from your mind and your spirit. You will walk the same, think the same, or expect the same. The pattern that told you to settle for scraps when I prepared a feast has been broken. The cycle that convinced you to stay hidden when I designed you to shine has been canceled. I want you to realize the shift that has occurred not in your surroundings, but in your positioning. I've elevated you beyond the structures meant to contain you. You were not made to blend in, you were set apart to carry greatness. You were not formed to merely survive, you were called to overflow. So let go of the lies that once governed your self-image. Stop measuring your worth by what others failed to see. They couldn't recognize your value because they weren't equipped to handle your calling. But I am not like them. I know exactly who you are. And I've placed my seal on you, not their limitations. From this point forward, you are moving without barriers, because I have removed them. You're no longer restricted by history. You're no longer confined by who they said you could be. You are stepping into a new atmosphere, one where my freedom reigns. My favor flows, and my truth defines you. You are limitless not because you are powerful, but because I am powerful in you. Walk boldly now, for the restrictions have been lifted and they can never return. My child, you didn't walk through the fire for nothing. Every trial you faced, every hardship that broke your heart, every season that tested your strength, I saw it all, and I received it as seed. You may not have known it at the time, but when you chose to worship instead of worry, when you trusted me while tears ran down your face, when you stayed faithful while everything around you felt like it was falling apart, you were sowing into a future you couldn't yet see. Those weren't wasted tears. That wasn't pointless pain. It was investment. And now, I'm calling forth the harvest. This is the season where what you planted in faith begins to blossom in reality. You sowed integrity when compromise would have been easier, and now I'm rewarding that. You sowed love in places that gave you rejection, and now I'm returning love pressed down and overflowing. You sowed patience in places where delay tried to discourage you, and now I'm moving in divine acceleration. Nothing you've endured will be in vain, not a single moment. Where there was sorrow, joy is rising. Where there was torment, peace is flowing. Where there was lack, provision is multiplying. Not because you demanded it, but because I promised it. I don't forget the faithful. I don't ignore the loyal. I don't overlook the surrendered. You've come through battles that were meant to crush you, but instead they cultivated a strength in you that attracted blessing. And I have taken note. I am the Lord of the harvest, and I am releasing fruit from ground that looked barren for years. You will walk into moments where it feels like heaven is pouring out reward after reward, and it will not make sense to those who didn't see the seasons you endured silently. But I know how many nights you kept going when quitting seemed easier. I know how many times you held your tongue, chose kindness, gave generously, believed relentlessly. And now I say to you with all the authority of heaven, your harvest has come. Not a partial one, not a scattered one, but a full, overflowing, undeniable outpouring of joy, peace, and provision that only I could arrange. It's not just restoration, it's multiplication. And it begins now. You've been known by your pain long enough. You've carried the identity of the one who went through the storm, the one who was left behind, the one who kept quiet while others walked freely. But today, I am reintroducing you, no longer through the lens of your brokenness, but through the truth of your transformation. You are not defined by what you've endured, you are revealed by what you've overcome. I am removing the veil that sorrow once draped over your name, and I am presenting you as one marked by my glory. The version of you that others became familiar with was shaped by survival, but the version I am now unveiling is shaped by victory. This isn't a reinvention, it's a revealing. I've always known who you were beneath the layers of trauma, shame, and silence. And now the time has come for that truth to be made visible. You will no longer be introduced as someone merely trying to make it. You will be recognized as someone who carries favor, walks in wisdom, and shines with my presence. You won't need to prove anything, because my hand on your life will say what words cannot. I will cause others to see the strength they once ignored. They will witness the radiance they missed while you were healing in private. This is not a comeback, this is a divine unveiling. You are not who they remember. You are who I say you are, redeemed, appointed, powerful, and chosen. I am reshaping the way your name is spoken in rooms you haven't even entered yet. Where once you were tolerated, now you will be celebrated. Where once you were overlooked, now you will be honored. You are being repositioned in places of influence not because you demanded recognition, but because you carried humility with excellence. My favor surrounds you like a shield, and it will not allow you to remain in obscurity. The season of being known only by your struggle is over. The season of being introduced by my grace is here. So prepare your heart, for I am placing you in view again, but this time, not as the hurting soul, but as the healed vessel. Not as the forgotten one, but as the example of what it looks like. When I raise someone back up. The crown of my favor is upon you, and your name is being spoken with honor under heaven's command. Amen.